Welcome to Bookish Babble. As you can see, Katie is not here, but that's okay. She's living
Busy. She's
life.
a busy woman.
She is busy woman.
very busy, making all that money.
Yeah, we love her for that.
It's a very cozy episode today.
Yeah, slang. We're talking a little romancy poo, you know? Kate doesn't really read romance, so.
We'll get into it later.
Yeah, but we wanted to talk about Happy Place by Emily Henry.
Yes.
Loved it. Did you rate it 5 stars?
I think I did.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't cry with books
And you did.
like ever, but it actually like made me tear up and cry. Like a tear fell. I've had books like make my eyes like well up before. Nothing has ever fallen.
Yeah.
And now I've had tears.
I really like her books. I also brought down Book Lovers. I know you didn't read that, but if you really like this book, I think you would like it. But we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, again, if you have not read these books, please stop what you're doing and go read them. It's about this girl, Harriet, and she's a medical student, and she meets Wynn in college and her other friends as well.
Her best friends in the whole world are her roommates.
Yeah. And they all kind of like drift apart a little bit in the sense life just gets in the way. That's normal. You know, life. And she lives in California doing her thing. And her and Wynn were engaged.
Yes.
And then they broke off the engagement. Well, he did.
He broke off the engagement.
He just like sent her back her stuff. And he was
going through a rough time.
He was. His dad passed away, and he's living back with his mom in Montana. I thought it was Minnesota, but it's not Minnesota. It's Montana.
That is she in Minnesota?
Maybe
Where is
that's why I'm
she?
all like messed up.
No.
Anyway.
No, she's in San Francisco.
Well, yeah, she's there, but I think her family was from one of those states, right? Maybe not. It does. Whatever. It's fine. So the whole book is based off of them going on a vacation to her friend's summer house.
I hit her hair. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I hit her hair in my mouth.
It's okay. They go to her friend's summer house, and it was like a big vacation. Really haven't talked to Harriet because she's not that she's pushing them away, but she doesn't want to have everybody deal with her issues, essentially.
Yeah.
And she just went about it the wrong way. And she realizes it by the end of the book, like, you know, my friends want to be there for me.
Well, also, her big thing was, like, yes, she wanted to be a surgeon and go through medical school and, like, do the whole thing and work those hours. But she realized that, like, she was not always there for the people around her. And she was constantly trying to live up to this expectation that she kind of accidentally set for herself.
Yeah.
Because her older sister, her parents weren't really supportive of her older sister. They kind of were like, what are you doing with your life? Her and the mom would always fight. But Harriet with her mom, like,
she was the golden child.
Yeah,
essentially.
her parents were like constantly like, you're gonna do such great things, sweetie. And she kind of felt like she had to live up to that, which is why she felt stuck in that like mental hole for so long, like knowing this isn't what she wanted but not being able to leave for fear of like disappointing everybody else, especially because her friends, like one of them they were living their dreams. Like her one friend is a lawyer and is marrying somebody in the friend group who is also a lawyer, right. And then her other friend Cleo is also in a relationship, and they're running like a successful farm.
Yeah, and at the end, we find out she's pregnant.
Cleo is pregnant.
Yes.
She
could get pregante.
Pregante.
Yeah, I definitely, But yeah, that was cute at the end. But yeah, they go to the house that the one friend's dad is selling. And this is like their last time there. And they find out when they get there.
Yeah, that they're selling like the beach house, which is the happy place.
Right. And Wynn shows up. She's like, what are you doing here? I thought like I was taking this vacation, not you. Because they were engaged, like I said, and they broke it off. And she was like, what are you doing here? Like all shocked. And the one friend really wanted him to come because they were getting married.
Yeah,
Wanted
so
to get married there with everybody there.
Yeah, they kind of made it so that they had to show up because he already said that he wasn't going to go. He was
right.
like,
She like, basically was like, do it.
Well, no, because like Wynn was like, because they already had like a game plan. Like, no, Harriet, you go to this vacation. I'll take the next one. So he had already said he wasn't going to be there. And then she gets there, and lo and behold, Mr. Wynn is right there because apparently, what was the guy's name?
I don't know. I can't remember his name. We're really good.
Prin?
Prin, I think.
No, not Prin.
Happy place. Characters.
I suck with names.
Yeah, we're
Get
both.
over it.
Parth.
Prin.
You were close.
I think that's it. Parth. Sabrina, the
And
Teenage
Parth.
Witch.
So they're getting married.
Yeah, Sabrina and Parth are getting married. Parth practically begged Wynn to be like, dude, we're getting married. Like, you gotta come. Because no one else knew. And the only way that he could get Wynn to come on this vacation was by saying, yo, we're getting married. We want, like, the only people we really love and adore and appreciate to be there. So it's just the 6 of them. And
Sabrina and Parth kind of, like, what am I looking for? Parent trap it a little bit with Wynn.
That's a good way to explain it.
Yeah, with Wynn and Harriet by giving them, like, the nicest room
together.
Yeah,
the one bed trope.
Yeah, when they don't know that they broke up.
Yeah, they were playing dumb the whole time.
Yeah.
Because, like, the whole point of this book was that Wynn and Harriet were like, okay, we broke up, but we're all a part of this friend group, and we dated within the friend group, and it would break everybody's hearts if they found out that we had broken up.
And they were the first two to, like, get together, essentially. So it was kind of like, oh, crap.
Especially because Sabrina was kind of crushing on Wynn at the time.
Right.
Oof.
Big oof. Yeah.
But yeah, they were the first one to kind of date within the friend group, which kind of made Sabrina feel like, oh, it's okay. So her and Parth got together.
Right.
And then Cleo...
And it's not that, like, Sabrina didn't want to marry him. It's just her father went through so many wives that she was like,
weddings aren't worth it.
Yeah,
she was scared that her marriage was also going to end up in divorce.
Right.
Which is a very valid fear.
Yeah, I think in the book, the dad, married 4 different women or something like that. 4 or 5. I forget. They kept saying
3.
wife number, whatever.
I thought it was 3. Which is still a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it kind of, like, scarred her for life. But they ended up, getting married and everything. But I really, like you said, you, like, cried at this book. Like,
I did.
I was pretty freaking close. Like, I probably was crying. Like, it was so good. It hit all the feels.
No, but I really loved this book. And I'm not a romance girly. This was definitely the first contemporary romance.
Now you are.
This is the first, like, strictly romance book that I've read. Like, I've read other books with romance as the subplot. I've never read it with it as the main driving force of the story of the book.
It's so good. Romance is my fave. I think, like, romantasy is my fave.
Yeah.
Fantasy romance, but I'm a sucker for romance.
Okay.
I just love it.
I'm happy for you.
I'm happy for you.
No, it is a huge genre. A lot of people like it. It's always one of that and fantasy are normally the 2 biggest sections in bookstores.
I would say that and mystery.
And mystery thriller. Yeah. Which my favorite genres are fantasy, thriller, mystery, and YA is in both.
Yeah, YA.
It's like a subgenre for those books.
I feel like because there's a lot of people too that I meet and they're like, oh, that book's a YA, I'm not reading it. I'm like, I'm going to be like 80 reading YA books.
Oh, yeah, because it just, I don't know. I like YA because they're easier to understand.
Right, it's just like a simple read.
Yeah, my little dyslexic brain, it needs a break sometimes. But listen, I love YA books, and sometimes when I recommend one of my favorite book series since I've started reading, it's called The Inheritance Games. I've recommended it to you and to Katie.
We're gonna read it. Don't worry.
No, I know. It's the only book series that I've read twice.
Really?
I read it twice.
I didn't know that.
So I read it way back in the beginning of my reading journey, and I think I read it in like 2021, 2022, and only 3 books were out Or no. Lore dump.
The drama.
No, so I was actually reading it as it was coming out. So I picked up Inheritance Games in Barnes & Noble in 2020, the year it came out. And I picked it up and I was like, this is amazing. I went through that book so quick.
Right.
And then I was like, where's the next one? I didn't see it in the store. And I looked it up. It's coming out. It like came out maybe like 20 days after I finished the first book.
Oh my gosh.
So it was like,
that's like perfect timing.
So I went, immediately grabbed it, read it. I was in college by that point. And then the next year, the third one came out, and I read it, and I was like, oh my God, thrilling conclusion. And I loved it so much. There's a subplot of romance in there. Love it. Like a love triangle. It was so good. I'm so sorry. I'm like remembering it now. But the reason I reread it was because a fourth book came out.
Right.
And it was during the events of the third book, The Final Gambit. And it was from the point of view of Jameson Hawthorne, which is one of the Hawthorne brothers.
Okay.
And it was good. And I liked it. So I reread the series to be able to like really remember the characters and the story and what was going on. And there's more books coming out as continuations.
I didn't know that.
Not with those characters, but
Okay,
like in the world.
Okay.
Like with the rules that the author had set.
Well, we'll definitely be talking about that eventually. Like when we get there. There's so many books that I'm trying to... Oh, there's that stupid gnat before that was attacking me.
It's okay.
It's okay. Slay.
But the whole reason I brought that up, not just to talk about it, but the whole reason I bring that up is because when I recommend that series to people, it's still one of my favorites to this day. It's YA. So sometimes when I recommend it to people, I'm like, oh, do you like puzzles? Do you like mysteries? Do you kind of like a little bit of that thriller element with a subplot of romance? People will go, yeah. I'm like, well, I have this great YA recommendation. The second I say YA, they're like,
I know.
ugh.
So rude. But
and I'm like, it's so good. I don't know why
they're missing out.
I don't know why people shit on YA.
I don't either.
They're like, it's for kids. It's not.
Like
YA is young adult.
Right. And I'm going to be a young adult forever.
In terms of like, I understand what they mean, like kids books. Like, obviously, I'm not recommending Green Eggs and Ham.
True.
Like, kids books. You want to talk about kids books? One of the most famous book series in the entire world is a kids book. You know what it is? Harry Potter. That's not YA. That is a kid's book.
Yeah.
And you know who are reading it? Adults. So I will hear none of it because YA is incredible. I like it. I also think that the romance is a lot more tame. Fair.
Yeah. I know you're more of a person that doesn't like to read smut, if possible.
I don't. And what's so funny is the fact that my boyfriend, my favorite person in the world, sometimes, I love him to the bottom of my heart, but a lot of the times I'll be reading, and I'll be reading something that like literally doesn't even have that in it, and he'll be like, oh, you're reading smut. And I'm like, no, why do you think that I read this? And he's like, because that one book, because I read ACOTAR.
Bruh.
And I was like, no. He's like, you made me read that one line. I'm like, because it was freaking intense. And you asked what I was reading.
Yeah, not all romance books are like that. I personally don't need all of like the craziness. Like I read Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood, and I did like it. I think
the cover scares me.
Yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I got it in Tennessee. It was signed. I just walked in. I was like, oh, okay, I'm buying it. Like, pop off. And I get it for the story. There had to be a lot of that going on. But it was like every chapter or every other chapter. And I felt like, okay, this is a lot for me to be reading.
I don't like to sweat when I read.
Yeah.
And that makes me sweat and my face turn red.
Yeah, I don't like need that. I just need like the cute relationship type stuff, and I feel
that's
like
what I like.
in Happy Place I feel like there was a lot of that. Like even though they were like faking it, he was still like pulling her like on his lap and like just like pretending it was
sweet nothings into her ear.
Right.
There was only I think two or 3 sex scenes in the entire book.
Yeah, which compared to some of the stuff we've read, whatever.
Oh my god. I've read Butcher and Blackbird.
Yeah, exactly.
That was intense. I've read Leather and Lark. That was even more
I do want to read those books. I'm a little nervous just because of what like you and my mom have told me, like how crazy the book
like
gets.
Listen, I love the first one more than the second one.
Right.
Because the way, like, the first one is kind of like a competition, and the second one is kind of like a solving mystery of like a mafia kind of.
Interesting.
It's very
I am
different.
very excited to read it though, and like talk about it more in depth when I read it,
Yes,
because
so-
it's gonna. I
right.
know it's a good book. 'cause
I'm not taking over the whole episode with Butcher and Blackbird.
No, I know.
I'm just saying, like, I've read some pretty like hardcore stuff, and I like dark romance, but I still don't like reading it. I prefer closed door
Yeah.
romance because I don't need to know the details.
Right.
I just want to see them like fall in love,
Right.
and that dynamic
That's
starts
what I
to
look-
become more forceful and
Right.
prominent. And I'm just like, cool, I'll read about you falling in love and all the cutesy stuff, but once we reach to like the bedroom, I'm like, okay, that's
Yeah.
your private lives.
Well, that was
I
kinda
don't need
like-
to be in on
That was kind of like with Book Lovers, too. And that's another Emily Henry book. What?
It was smutty?
No.
Oh.
No. It's like this book, like the Happy
Okay.
Place book.
I
It's
fucked
very.
up.
No, it's okay. I worded that weird. With Book Lovers, I really like that. I really like her writing because I feel like there's not a lot of like sex and stuff in it. It's just
Mhm.
like there
It's
might be a little
tame.
bit here and there. Yeah, it's not like craziness. And I really think, what you're saying. I really think that you should read Book Lovers.
Okay.
I really liked it. I thought it was good. And again, it has stuff to do with books. They're both
Yeah.
people in like the publishing industry and stuff like that. It's very interesting. Like they kind of bond
don't
over this
know.
one person's book.
I don't know if I'll be able to read that because I read Divine Rivals, and that sounds very similar, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Divine.
I didn't read that yet, so I don't know how similar. So once I read that, I'll let you know.
hydrate.
But you like the Emily Henry book, Happy
The
Place?
one book, yeah.
I know, but I really think that you would like Book Lovers.
Okay.
'Cause like she goes like to this random place in North Carolina, and he's from there, and it's kind of like she's like, oh, all these guys like that I date, they leave me 'cause they go to these small towns, and they
Oh, I
meet
remember
people.
you telling me
Yeah,
about this.
and it's kind of like then she kind of finds herself in that situation
I
as
just
well.
want to be in a romance book.
Right, and like it's I don't want to say too much, but I really think you
Right.
like it. And
Okay.
I also brought down Right on Cue by Fallon Ballard.
Is that this one?
Yeah, you
Hold
can
on.
pick it up if you want. I'll move it. And it's not as popular of a book on TikTok, and
But
like,
every time I do see it, people are raving
it
about
is
it.
so good. Like I gave it 5 stars immediately.
Tell us why you picked it up.
So my fiance and like you and like all of our friends, they do film, and I said to AJ, I was like, oh my gosh, it's about film and it's a book. I'm gonna read it because it's film.
Just from looking at the cover, is it 2 actors who fall in love on set?
Pretty much.
Okay.
So with Right on Cue, it's about these 2 actors, and so her parents were big movie stars, essentially. Like they did a bunch
Must be
of
nice.
Yeah, right. And so she got into acting, and she acted with this guy named Grayson, and the movie was terrible, essentially. And like this guy Grayson is kind of he's kind of a jerk, but like
Love that.
he doesn't like when they were younger, he said something about her being like a bad kisser, and it kind of like that movie kind of like ruined her acting career kind of, but he kind of said it like being defensive, I guess.
How dare.
I know. It was crazy. That was like her first kiss and stuff too. And I think
On
his
a
too.
movie? That's
She was like 16 or something.
Oh no.
And then
no shit, you're a bad kisser for your first
know.
kiss. What are you kidding
I know.
me?
So then
You haven't had practice.
I know.
Why am I
literally.
getting so defensive? I
It's
haven't
okay.
read the
You
book.
have to read it. It's so good. And then she decides to start writing movies, like screenwriting. So she wins like an Oscar for it and all this stuff. And then her dad sadly like
Nice.
passes away. So she won an Oscar for like a more sad thing, but she usually writes like romance and like happy stuff.
Right.
And then she decided to write this new romance after like having time to grieve over her father, even though it hasn't been super easy. And they have another actor to play the main male, and they couldn't find somebody as good as her to play that part, the girl part. So they were like, oh,
You wrote it. You should just
right.
star in it.
And like It's so good because then she's playing it, and then Grayson, he was like, because the main guy that was supposed to do it like broke his leg or something in an accident, like snowboarding. So they kind of end up like trying to have to like re-like each other because their scenes together are just like not good. They have no chemistry because like of all the awkwardness and all that stuff. But like there is like a sex scene in the movie, so like they have to like be fake naked around each other and stuff like that.
How do you be fake naked?
Like he has to like wear like
a sock.
Yeah, stuff like that, and like she does have to like show parts of her, but like so it's like weird, but they're trying to break this tension, and there's like an intimacy coordinator, and it's like he's like, but if you're not comfortable with it, like, you know, but it was good, it was fine. And
I do have comments about that.
Go for it.
Like you said, me, your fiance, a ton of our friend group were in or are in the film industry as of current. That is a thing with intimacy coordinators, and like,
yeah,
I still think it's such BS that it, like, SAG.
She wrote it in her script.
Well, I know, but like SAG, the
yeah,
is that the actors?
Yeah,
or is that the Screenwriting Guild?
I don't know. It's one of them.
I'm so sorry, but the union for actors, there are certain like rules and guidelines that are like mandatory, and it is up to the actor to be able to either show more of themselves or go by the bylaws of the...
Yeah, because they did ask them, like, what are you comfortable with? So
what I'm mainly getting at is the fact that I think it's such BS that the one part of a guy that is, like, a private part or whatever has to have a sock on it, but a woman can just... Yeah. Oh no, you don't get any
well, I know
specific written laws about how you can just hide yourself if you want to. But a guy, we gotta hide the hot dog. We gotta hide it. Yeah, no naked mole rat here.
Yeah, it's funny. Like in the book, she was wearing a robe, and then he was wearing that, but he had like a butt scene essentially, so his butt was out.
Oh,
so like that was like the only thing that, because they're like, what do you know, whatever.
That's funny.
And eventually they're kind of like enemies to lovers, because then eventually they do end up just having a pact where they're going to sleep together essentially, because she was like, they were kind of into each other, but it was more like, oh, you're attractive and whatever. So then they kind of start sleeping together. It kind of makes their relationship better, and it makes the movie better. But then they kind of start to like fall for each other. So they go on dates and all this. The movie ends. They wrap. They go back to wherever they live in like in LA in California. They're dating for a while, and then she like overhears him talking to like his agent about like fake dating her, but he actually fell for her. That was just something that the agent wanted, and all this stuff and drama. But then they end up together, and it's cute. I think you should still read it, because I'm not doing it the justice that the banter between the two of them.
Oh, I live for good banter.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Okay.
It makes the book like
okay. I
insane.
Probably sound like such a disinterested like jerk. I'm just like, okay.
No. Like
I'm sorry. I'm tired. I had that whole coffee.
I know, you're fine.
I don't drink coffee.
I think
it makes me tired.
I think if you liked Happy Place, you should read Right on Cue by Fallon Ballard.
I really did love Happy Place. I felt such sympathy for Wynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. That was rough situation. I think I read somewhere like somebody commented something was like right person, wrong time or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then they end up together anyway.
Right, because they actually finally worked out their stuff. I think I'm not okay, so I don't think I'm a big fan of the miscommunication trope, because that's the entire reason they broke up. I don't know how I feel about it, because just fucking communicate with one another.
I know.
Like, come on. We're not 5. Stop hiding things. This is your partner. This is who you want to spend your life with.
Right.
Why? Like, I totally understand her part of it, where, like, she was going through a lot, but he was grieving the loss of his dad, so she didn't want to add on problems to his plate. She was thinking, like, oh, I have no right to complain right now because he just lost his dad. I want to be there for him. But he was also trying to, like, you know, grieve and move past it, but she never wanted to do anything. She kept pushing back the wedding planning because she didn't want him to stress him out with that as well as this. But he was looking for a distraction to, like, take his mind off of it and start the grieving process and start to move on.
They just didn't.
So they weren't communicating well, and he was
decided to end
frustrated
it.
because he felt like she was never there, but she was trying to give him space to be able to process.
Right. Again, it was just that miscommunication. Like, they didn't really talk to each other. And I feel like they also felt like they were kind of, like, tiptoeing around each other a little bit. Like, I don't know.
Because it's like, I get it. Like, oh, you have huge problems. I don't want to add the stuff that I'm going through to you. But being in a relationship now, I understand that you're going through problems. You should also be able to air out your stuff, even if it's not, like, obviously, when they're grieving, don't add your stuff in and be like, oh, yeah, well, this is happening to me.
Right. No,
I think, like, you, at some point, just sit down and talk to them and just be like, hey, I'm feeling this way. I'm kind of feeling ignored or neglected or something like that, like the book.
Right.
But then, yeah, like, do not wait till they talk about their stuff to pile on yours.
Right.
Like,
if something's
pick
bothering
your
you,
moments.
just, like, talk about it. Be adults. That's the whole thing with, like, just growing as a relationship. You just have to learn those things as you go. And because they were both so stressed out about, like, work and, like, again, the father passing away and stuff, it was like they didn't know how to talk about it. But now, like, I mean, as you saw through the book, they obviously regained that relationship back. And
their spark never went away.
Right. It was just their communication skills lacked, and that's so important in a relationship, because if you don't have it, then stuff like that happens and you lose, like, the love of your life, essentially. There's so many people where that happens today. Like, that was their person, but because you didn't know how to talk about stuff, you know, you lost that person.
Well, because they had major stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like, in both their lives. Like, she was finding out that she was actually miserable in her job.
Right.
But
There's just a lot.
Yeah, and his father passed away, and then his mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Yes.
Or
something.
Parkinson's.
She had something going on that he needed to be home
to look after her.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was just bomb after bomb of like stuff
like
going
ending.
wrong. Yeah, it really sucks because that happens sometimes in real life too. It's never ending.
Yeah.
You just got to be in a constant state of tolerance.
Yeah.
But yeah, they worked it all out in the end, which was good because they finally talked about it and the misunderstanding, and that's when they were like, I've never stopped loving you. Like, I can't get over you. I think about you all the time. Because he kept saying, I'm happy. Are you happy?
Right.
And she would lie and say yes.
Right.
But if she had just said no,
I know.
They would have talked about it sooner. This is why, in my opinion, the miscommunication trope sucks. Because I'm reading it and I'm just like, just talk to each other.
I know.
Like, I get viscerally
But there's
rageful.
there's so many more people today and, like, just throughout history that have communication problems. Like, they don't know how to talk. So, like, you see more of that than you see people being able to communicate. And I feel like that's why, like, even nowadays, like, divorce rates are up and stuff like that. People are breaking up and all that stuff. And
I don't know if it's from communication or if it's a lack of tolerance because people understand their worth better now. Because back then...
Yeah, I mean, it's both. But I feel like the communication is a big part of it.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying that's not it. But, yeah, that's definitely a big part. Because, like, I had my grandparents on my father's side, so my grandma and my grandpa, they were married for 45 years before he passed away. Like, they never divorced. And they had problems, but they would talk them out. Right. Also, I feel like just times were different where women were like, yeah, this is how it is.
Yeah.
So they were less inclined to divorce and the whole aspect of the church and feeling shunned because they didn't acknowledge divorce.
Yes.
I am a firm believer in not that divorce is an easy way out, but I do truly believe in solving your problems and talking to your partner rather than letting it fester and then one day finding out that you hate them and you want to leave.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Deep conversations with Emily Henry's books.
Yeah. When did this become a relationship advice podcast?
Yeah, right? Like, what's going on? But I think it's time to turn to
Goodreads
reviews.
That was improv.
Oh my God, that was good. So we have a bunch of 1 stars for this book, but there was also 2 5 stars. So I feel
Yeah.
like let's start on the
So
high
I
notes.
sent you mine. This is both of our
Yeah.
our favorite Goodreads reviews that we found.
Yes, this is. I'm gonna read the 2 5 stars first because we got to start on a high note.
One was mine, right?
I think you sent both.
Oh, okay.
Pain. That's it.
Pain.
5 stars.
5 stars. I cried. I felt
Yeah.
Pain.
Pain in a good way.
right.
Pain in like a
Good
happy,
heartbreak.
Yeah. Sure. The second 5 star is Emily Henry is behind my impossible romantic standards is true.
That's it.
And then that was it. And then she has like a full review.
Read her full review on her blog.
All right. These are the 1 stars. When I die, I want Emily Henry to lower me into my grave so she can let me down one last time.
Oof.
Miss Henry, can you explain how Shoddy is going to pay those loans off?
Oh my God, because she quit being a surgeon, moved to Montana, and started working at a pottery.
Yeah.
I almost said pottery salon. Pottery studio.
I keep wanting to say Pottery Barn.
Yeah.
Just because
The store.
Bruh. No offense, but this book actually made me glad I was single.
Ooh.
LOL.
Again, miscommunication trope.
Yeah.
Sis, how are ya? Shut the fuck up. Get
This
that
is a
outta
2
here.
star
Okay.
review.
A little better.
I agree that this book is Taylor Swift coded, as in me and Emily Henry books are never, ever, ever getting back together. It's messed up.
was cute.
I know, right? All right, back to the 1 stars.
Ooh.
No offense, but are you guys lying?
About what?
I guess how good it is. This one,
Oh
I know.
no. I loved it.
I know.
But I still hate miscommunication.
I know. DNF at 48%. I physically can't take this book anymore. It's so bad, I want to delete it out of my brain chemistry. I've wasted my life, breath, and time trying to get to the middle of this, and I'm deciding to DNF it for real this time.
Honestly, good for you for pulling the plug.
Yeah. Last one that I have.
Okay.
Okay. 53% in, and I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I'm becoming the worst version of myself as I try to force myself to continue. That's it.
You know what? As a true stubborn book reader, I totally get it. I've only DNF'd 2 books. But there are so many books where I'm like, why did I do this to my... Why did I finish? And you know why? Because I wanted it to count towards my Goodreads reading goal for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I have already finished. And I've already read the 50 books I wanted to read in the entire year. And I've already passed that. Because I think I just finished book 56.
My gosh. I originally at first put 20.
Yes.
And
That was every Sarah J. Maas book.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay. So I changed it to 58, and let's see, in the 30s. But I just started my reading journey in January, so
Yeah.
let's see.
Last year, I found out I only read 23 books.
Wow.
And now I'm already at 50. Well, last year, I was still a full-time student in college. Not
That's
that I
true.
wasn't this year. I was this year, but, like...
Not the whole year, though.
Exactly. So, like, I graduated. I'm a college graduate, guys.
Slay.
I graduated this May.
I dropped out. But for music, it's fine, guys. It's fine. I've read 33 books, and right now I'm on book 34, and I'm
Nice.
34% done, which is funny.
Wait, aren't you in the middle of, like...
Yeah, Crush.
No, you're in the middle of, like, 4 different
Well,
books.
yeah, that book. I'm also reading Lost Stars. And I have 5 Broken Blades, but I do not like this book at all, so I'm waiting.
Shh.
I don't.
I know, but that's an episode.
I know. We'll get back to it. I am going to finish it, though, but I'm waiting for my
sure?
Hoopla app. Yeah, so I can just listen to it and get it over
It makes
with.
it easier.
Yeah, I can't.
I have so much to say about that book. It wasn't the best.
Like, it could have been good.
There will be an episode on 5 Broken Blades.
There will.
Dude, the reviews for that one, they're funny. Can't wait.
Wait for mine. I'm only 33% in, and I'm like...
Mine's pretty nice.
I don't know if I'm gonna read the second one. I don't even care how good if the ending's good, because you told me it's worth it, but I'm like, I don't know.
You're gonna be like, I hate it.
I hate it.
I could have done better.
And it's hard for me to like hate a book because I love literally everything I'm reading. This is the first book that I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to look at it.
So, yeah, I knew that was eventually going to happen because, again, you just started your reading journey. I've been reading for the past 4-ish years now. So I've already found things that I'm just like, eh. But also, in discovering your favorite genres, you're going to come across books that you don't like.
Of course.
But also, you might just find out, oh, I don't like this genre. That's why I don't like any of these books. Or
True.
you might find out that, like, oh, I love fantasy, so you're going to read everything fantasy. Some fantasy books just aren't going to match up for you.
Yeah.
And it might be one book, or it could be everything a certain author writes just doesn't vibe with you.
Yeah, that's
and you're
so
going to
true.
find that out as you read.
Everybody's
more.
so different.
Yeah.
With what they like to read and what they don't like. So if you liked Five Broken Blades, pop off. I love that for you. I just am not vibing with it at all.
Red Tower Books is having like an issue. I think the greatest
Their best
thing
fourth wig.
I know people love, like, don't get me wrong, I fall victim to it too. Red Tower Books is the book publisher that is heavily into spray edging their books. That's not how you say that.
Sprayed. I don't know.
All their books have
they're
sprayed
spraying
edges.
their books on the edges.
So they're a publishing company that is, they know the audience. We're book readers. We like pretty covers. We like shiny things.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
I do.
Me too.
And I'm never changing. But yeah, they spray the edges of a lot of their books, and they
Draws
look
people in.
Then they all look stunning. So good.
But the premise of Five Broken Blades sounded good.
Great.
She just didn't.
She was like, it's a heist story. I'm like, okay, we didn't get to the heist till the end. We can't review it right now.
I know. I'm only 33% in, but I love romance books. I love cowboy romance books, and I'm very excited. I want you to read Wild Love so bad.
So listen, I don't remember if I've said it on the podcast already, but I know I've told you 100 times. I think I've mentioned it twice today. My working theory for society is that every guy looks better in a cowboy hat.
Mm-hmm.
I think immediately when that hat gets put on their head, their attractiveness goes up.
Yeah. We were
Like it's nobody's business.
We were in Barnes & Noble today, and there was
the table of Elsie Silver books.
Yeah, and there was a couple pictures of Glenn Powell from Twister, and in one picture he had a cowboy hat on, and in others he didn't, and he just looked better with the cowboy hat on. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
It does something.
Leave a comment below if you feel
if
this.
you understand. Yeah, if you
because
agree.
Hot dog.
That is my society theory. But yes, if I'm gonna enjoy romance,
it's gonna be Elsie Silver.
I'm almost positive it will be cowboy romances. Yeah, I'm excited. Like Done and Dusted, Wild Love, Flawless.
Off the races.
Off to the races,
Off to
photo
the races.
finish.
That was weird. Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and talking about Happy Place.
That was
and
fun.
A couple other books, but that's okay.
We always get sidetracked.
We do, but we just have a lot to say.
ADHD reads.
Yeah.
That's us.
Without Katie here, we're like ADHDing right now.
Well, she's got it too.
I know.
We should come out with t-shirts. ADHD reads.
Oh my gosh. So cute.
Well, all right, babblers. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Bookish Babble.
Please follow us below on all of our social medias. We also obviously put Katie's stuff as well, even though she's not here.
And our Goodreads.
So
you can know what we're reading next.
Yeah, please also leave comments below on book recommendations you have for us as well. Even if we were like, oh, we're not going to like it.
Yeah. Sorry, let me move my little friend.
Are we picking a book?
Yeah.
All right, do you want to pick it this time?
All right, I'll pick.
Okay. Holding.
Okay. This is our TBR jar, and in the coming episodes, we will be talking about something that we pull from here because all of our TBRs are too long.
Yes.
And we need help picking what to do next.
Yeah, because I'm like, girl. Right now I'm reading the Crave series. So good.
I don't know what to pick. I'm just fondling these papers. I'm just
The camera's going to stop recording soon, dog.
Okay. It's stuck in my fingers. Okay.
Dead. What do we got?
Crave.
Yes! Yes!
Crave. You've been reading it and you've been loving it.
Yes!
Fuck you.
Yes!
I didn't think I was going to have to start reading it this soon.
Let's go.
That couldn't have been more perfect.
Yes. I'm on book 2 right now, so I'm like, yes.
You're ahead of me.
I know.
I don't know how to feel about that.
I'm so excited.
You read Happy Place, and I was like, oh, I have that. I should read it. I read it before you. I finished it.
You did.
It wasn't like I gotta finish it before her, but you'll normally be ahead of me.
Yeah.
And then I'll pass you. It happened with Crescent
Well, you
City.
have more time than I do.
No, I don't. Because I'm going to be editing these damn things.
Well, that's true. I am so excited to be reading Crave, like to have you start it. I love it. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and we will see you next week.
Yes, we will.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.